Hi guys, my name is Blake. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you my top 10 fantasy and science fiction YA books that I would like to get to in 2021. The first one I have is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This girl that has to go to the Fae world because her parents are murdered and she and her sister are kidnapped. And then she gets involved in a bunch of politics with the Fae Prince. And it's apparently an enemies to lovers story, which I absolutely love that trope. However, the reason why I haven't picked it up yet is because I heard that the third book was very hated by a lot of people that I follow on social media. And that kind of scares me going into a series, because I don't want to do all that work and read all this stuff and hate the last book. So, not sure how I feel about this one, but I'm going to make myself read it because I think I'll at least enjoy this first one. The next book I have is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. So I actually already read this book whenever it first came out, and I read the second one as well. And I really enjoyed this first book, but I didn't like the second one. So I put the series down. Now we're having the show come out, and I'm really behind on Leigh Bardugo's books, so I really would like to reread the first two books and continue on with the rest of the Grishaverse books. The next book I have is The Demon King by Cinda Chima. So I haven't actually heard anyone talk about this series, but I have heard a lot of people mention the author's name. So I'm really excited to see what she brings to the table, because I have like 10 of her books on my shelves, so I really need to read them. The next book I want to read is Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge. So I read her debut novel, Cruel Beauty, when it first came out, and I absolutely loved it. It's a dark Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I loved it so much. It was one of my favorite reads of the year. And then I purchased all of the rest of her books, but I've been scared to read them because I don't know if they will be as good as Cruel Beauty in my mind. But she loves dark fantasy, and she loves fairy tales. I believe that all of her books are dark fairy tale retellings of a sort. And I believe this one is a dark Little Red Riding Hood, or darker Little Red Riding Hood. So I'm really excited to finally get into it. Up next, I have The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I literally have no excuses for why I haven't read this. I know that it's about this girl who is destined to kill her true love, I think. I know that starts in a graveyard, so I'm really interested in that. I don't really know a lot about it, but people love the series. A lot of my Bookstagram friends, some of them, this is like their favorite book ever. I read her Wolves of Mercy Falls series a long time ago, and I didn't like it. Maybe that's why I've been putting this off. Or maybe the hype is too much for me. I don't know. But I definitely want to read this around Halloween time. The next book I have is Truthwitch by Dennard. I'm planning on doing a buddy read of this in January with a Bookstagram friend of mine. I'm really excited to get into it because I heard that it has some amazing fictional friendships, and I eat those up. I own all the books that are out, and I can't believe that it's taken me this long to actually get to them. The next book I have is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I have never read a Mary E. Pearson book, and I'm so sorry to say that, because I know that her books are so well loved. I remember everyone talking about the Remnant Chronicles when it came out, but I was in university at the time, and I couldn't read it. And I believe that this series takes place in the Remnant Chronicles as well. I don't actually know if I have to read the Remnant Chronicles first. I should probably look into that. But if I have to, I will get to the Remnant Chronicles first. Up next, I have The Lady Rogue by Jenn Bennett. It's historical fiction with fantasy elements, I believe. We're following this girl whose father is missing, and she has to find the Ring of Vlad the Impaler, and it's cursed, if I'm not mistaken. My friend Jenica from Genocide by Bibliophile absolutely loved this book, and she has recommended it to me a couple times, and so I finally picked it up, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. The next book I have is The Shadow of the Fox by Kagawa. This is a Japanese fairy tale of sorts. We're following a fox shapeshifter and a samurai. And this fox shapeshifter is guarding a scroll, and the samurai is hunting for the scroll, and they have to team up and become allies. I've heard amazing things about it, and I absolutely love Japanese myths and fairy tales, so I'm hopeful that this might be a favorite of next year. And finally, the last book that I have is a young adult science fiction novel, and that would be Illuminae by Amie, Kaufman, and Kristoff. I have heard the most amazing things about this series, and in 2021 I want to get more into science fiction, and this is one of the few YA science fiction novels that I really want to get to before I jump into some more adult science fiction. And I've heard that it has a really interesting format and layout, and I'm really interested in that. This is another hopeful for favorite of the year, because I've heard such good things, and I think that I'll really love it. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought about them, or let me know what YA books you're planning on reading in 2021. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you again with another video soon. Goodbye!